Welcome to the occupied West Bank, where in the Palestinian village of Beta the tear gas has begun unusually early today. These scenes have become a weekly ritual. Palestinians holding a small demonstration after Friday prayers. Israeli soldiers firing tear gas down at the Palestinians have been protesting like this for years and years, but if anything, the situation for them on the ground is only getting more and more difficult, the Israeli army becoming more and more uncompromising. Particularly since October the 7th, at times the Israelis shoot live bullets. More than a dozen people have been killed around Beta in the past few years since demonstrations against a new, nearby Israeli settlement began.
And the settlers here, they stole our land, and every Friday we come here just to pray peacefully, but they don't want even this. They don't want this. They sh us the, as you see.
We leave Beta and head to the settlement they're protesting against. The International Court of Justice has said that all Israeli settlements in the occupied West Bank should be dismantled. If anything, they're actually expanding more rapidly than ever before. We're on our way now to Aviator, which is one of the newest ones, named after a settler killed by Palestinians nearby. Aviator was founded by ultra-hardline activists who see themselves as pioneers on land promised to them by God. The outpost was initially even considered illegal under Israeli law, but it was recognized by the state last month along with several others. Israel's far-right finance minister visited to congratulate Avatar's residents. Bezalel Smotrich, himself a settler, is spearheading efforts to fully annex the West Bank. For the settlers constructing these ramshackle homes, they're reclaiming a Jewish ancestral and spiritual homeland and protecting it at the moment, where we're 1520 by the end of the summer. Mal is AAR's head of security. But the settlements that you're building here, they make a Palestinian state, a two-state solution, impossible, practically, but I guess that's part of the aim is.
Well, I'll ask you if you have a Palestinian state here who will protect Tel Aviv from being rocketed with the army. Apparently the army, well, as long as we hear the army here, if you take the Palestinians seriously, and you take Themas seriously, and you hear what they're saying, they're talking about from the river to the sea.
That's effectively your slogan. From the river to the sea should be all Israel well.
It was much more, actually.
Around 700,000 settlers now live in the occupied West Bank and East Jerusalem, most in large enclaves like this. The West Bank was seized by Israel in the 1967 war. Internationally, it's all considered to be Palestinian land, key to any future Palestinian state. Since the 1990s, more urban areas have been partially controlled by the Palestinian Authority, the rest by the Israeli military, but the territory is now dotted with Israeli settlements widely considered illegal, and over the past 2 years under Israel's current hardline government, they've seen unprecedented growth, emboldened by allies. In the heart of Israel's government, violence by settlers targeting Palestinians has been rising sharply. This was an attack earlier this month where homes and cars were set alight and one man killed, but the settlers see themselves as the victims. Stab and shooting attacks by Palestinians had been growing more frequent even before October the 7th, and with the occupation entrenched and deadly Israeli army raids ramping up, grassroots support in the West Bank for Hamas is soaring. There's no other rhetoric or discourse coming either from Israel, from the US, from the UK, from Europe that will actually push a solution to the conflict here. So at the end, even if you're not radical or your moderate resistance comes as that solution, and that's why Hamas now has a lot of popularity in the West Bank and the growing support for Hamas. Israelis would see that as a major security concern. Again, that's the problem with Israel, is that it creates a problem and then accuses you of supporting Hamas. Hamas is just a new variant of an old tradition in Palestine. How do we solve the problem of losing our land? How do we solve the problem of military occupation? Several thousand Israeli settlers once occupied parts of Gaza, but to their fury they were forced out by their own army close to 2 decades ago as it withdrew from the territory. Now some see the current war as a chance to finally move back. We're in a small tent site not far from on the border with Gaza. It might look like a bohemian summer camp complete with family-friendly activities, but this is an unabashed, radical fringe backed ideologically by senior far-right members of government that believes Gaza is Jewish land on Y's neck, a tattoo of a banned extremist group. For him, the death and destruction wrought in Gaza represents an opportunity to take it over in the camp. The orange color of the movement flies high. Some soldiers fighting in AA have posted photos online with the flag too, though Israel's leadership insists there's no prospect of re-establishing the settlements. Ariel believes it will happen and hopes to be amongst the first to move to Gaza. She came to Israel 7 years ago from Texas.
The idea of you coming from America to here settling and potentially in Gaza kicking Palestinians out, a lot of people would see that as settler colonialism.
It's not really colonialism, it's a turn. My grandparents were kicked out of Israel by Arabs who were trying to establish a Palestinian street, and they had to leave for their survival, and I'm just coming back and fulfilling their dream. That would be the first thing. The second thing is, I think that, and I know this is a minority view, I think colonialism gets a bad, like genocide is bad, but colonizing places that are genocidal and they have bad ideology, it's good to come in and correct their views. What do you think should happen to the people who were already in Gaza? So I think that there's a couple of possibilities. The one that I think is the most realistic is we got to help ask other countries for help. I know that Spain was willing to take a couple of million. I know Russia said they would take a couple of thousand.
Two, a lot of people that would sound like you're advocating for ethnic cleansing.
And don't think so, because Palestinian isn't an ethnicity, it's an ideology, and it's an ideology that says that they want Jews dead, and so we want them as far away from Jews as possible.
The would-be settlers take us to the Eras crossing. It used to be the gateway into Gaza. The area has been closed off by Israeli soldiers, but the group is waved through. They've planted 2 small lemon trees here as symbols of their claims over this land, just saplings, but the settlers have seen how, over the years, their efforts bear fruit. Thanks for watching this video.